Hi. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us on the first day of our college fair. Today we have Carl Tang and Alan Yu who will be here representing Hong Kong Polytechnic University for tonight. So, if you have any questions, please put them in the chat box and we will get into them later. Carl, whenever you're ready, you can start.
Thank you very much, Brittany. Good evening, everyone. We share the same time zone. We are now also 10 o'clock in the evening. So to start with, we are pretty similar in time zones and everything. So a very short, proximity is one also good for you to consider Hong Kong as a study abroad destination as well. Here, representing Hong Kong Polytechnic University, we also have my colleague Ellen here and also our current students, Lourdes also from the Philippines, and we'll share with you our experience, and definitely Lourdes will further let you know her story. She's going to be a sophomore in late August when the semester starts again. So let me share my screen to start my part. So to start with, I think you have some understanding about Hong Kong before already. Hong Kong is international financial center, is where East meets West. So we are very multicultural. We are part of China for more than 23 years now. So you get to know, you get to expose yourself into a lot of Chinese culture, but at the same time, it's also the place for many people from outside Hong Kong, the British and Americans. They may already be our PR. They keep their nationality, but they have been staying in Hong Kong for 20, 30 years. Quite some of our friends are like that. Our faculty members, some of my friends who landed in Hong Kong 20 years back, they live here, they work here, and this is definitely their home as well. Hong Kong has been famous to be set as a jungle because we are like an urban area. If you see the buildings here and you have been to BGC, it may be quite similar. But of course, Hong Kong is not only about that. We share another similar thing to the Philippines is we have also a lot of different islands and mountains. So, but we are also quite a lot smaller. So that means if you want to go for hiking from the city, that wouldn't take you more than 1 hour by public transportation. Hong Kong is famous for having very good public transportation. We have buses, we have metros, subways running around the city. You don't need to drive in Hong Kong, and traffic has been okay. I drive regularly myself. I don't see a very great traffic jam unless there are some accidents as well. So being a student, you don't really need a car. Now you're exposed in the English-speaking culture, but you are in a part of China. That means you get exposed to a lot of companies, and you have a very great opportunities not only in Hong Kong upon graduation or internship, but you also get a chance to work in mainland China under our Greater Bay Area initiatives. I will share with you later on this. And this is a map of Hong Kong. So from Poly, which is the red symbol at the downtown area, when you travel from Poly to anywhere in the city, that wouldn't take you more than 1 hour 15 minutes roughly, because we are just right at the heart of city center. So if you are getting into quite some urban or city life, you will find Poly living in Hong Kong quite easily adapted. And Poly, again, we are at the Kowloon Peninsula. When you step away from campus, actually, you reach the shops and you can go for grocery shopping. You can meet friends very easily. So this is definitely a very good place for you. Hong Kong also has, as I mentioned, the permanent residencies policy. Now we are going to do a 4+1+2 arrangement. So 7 years is like when you are first getting a 4-year visa, you are guaranteed to stay in Hong Kong for 48 months. And the 5th year is 1, that is a visa given to all graduate students. So you are actually technically given 5 years guarantee of staying in Hong Kong. What you need to pursue to 7 is, of course, 5+2, easy sum. This is the 2-year visa arrangement that you need to seek a supporting document from the from your employer, and that, or where you are studying in Hong Kong. If you're doing master studies, of course, that's the university supporting your 2 more years of visa. After 7 years, you are going to apply and get a PR. It's pretty straightforward in that way. With this, many students, many workers find Hong Kong as their home. Okay, so Hong Kong is also a place for higher education. We have over 20 higher education institutes with bachelor's, master's, PhD degrees. Only 8 of us are publicly funded, and 5 of us rank top 70. Of course, Poly is being one of the 5 ranking top 70, currently 66 in the world. We are hosting more than 14,000 undergraduate students from 50 countries and regions, going up to 26,000 from all levels, students from all levels from nearly 70 countries and regions. English is the sole medium of instruction in PolyU, so you don't need to know any other language. We don't even need Tagalog, nothing, no Chinese. But of course, when you come to PolyU, before you graduate, we would have 1 Chinese language requirements that you need to study at least 1 Chinese course in a semester. Okay, so you get to acquire basic Chinese knowledge just to survive in Hong Kong, to maybe to communicate with some of the locals or the older people who may not know Chinese, English quite well. Okay. Poly is famous to be very practical, using a very practical approach on learning and on study, and of course on research as well. We are comprehensive, so we have 8 faculties, including 2 schools with around 40 plus majors and over also 40 minors. So it's quite popular for students to do a major and a minor combination as long as you wish to. If not, you are just going to graduate with 1 major. PolyU has 8 faculties and 2 schools, and if you see from the Faculty of Science and Applied Science and Textiles, all these major areas, biotech, chemtech, engineering, physics, food safety, fashion, textile, these are all highly practical as well. In contrast, we don't quite provide some theory-based majors like mathematics alone or organic chemistry, because this is what we believe to be beneficial to students during their study and going towards graduation as well. Faculty of Business, we have 3 departments with 7 majors and top 30 in the world by Times highest education by subject. Faculty of Instruction Environment with civil engineering, building, construction, and all those. This is very professional faculty with very professional qualifications as well. We have 1 student from the Philippines who is now going into sophomore as well. He's doing going into actually junior. He is finishing 2 years in civil engineering. All right. So Faculty of Engineering having around 15 majors, top 15 in US News World Report for best global universities for engineering. We have Faculty of Health and Social Sciences. We also have Humanities. We have Design, and last but not least, Hospitality Management. This is our own 5-star hotel on the right-hand side. It's called Hotel Icon with over 270 rooms, and we really serve commercial guests, and we own this hotel. This hotel is our, commercial arm, as a part of the university. So in short, you can, if you're studying in hospitality management, not only would you require the very, broad knowledge ranging from, hotel finance, food and beverages, restaurant management, resort management, and so on and so forth, but you also get a chance to practice in our hotel. Our hospitality management requires at least half a year of internship and hands-on experience as well. So, and as I mentioned, we are very practical and we give 100% internship. You have to finish at least 1 internship in 4 years before you graduate. You are guaranteed, and in another way is compulsory. We don't do co-op programs like some universities in US or Canada because Hong Kong is just a place for with a lot of job opportunities, and you have all the freedom to work, to choose a company, to apply for that job, to work in Hong Kong, or if you want to go back to the Philippines, to your home city, you can also work in your home city, maybe during summer semester or during summer term that you are not taking any class. Okay. So because of the practical element and the hands-on training, in the last 3 years, I have been seeing the statistics that only 2% of the graduates who reply to our statistics who are unemployed if they seek employment, in the first 6 months. So 2% unemployment if they seek employment or if they seek jobs. So it is a very low percentage, and that means that we have plenty of opportunities in Hong Kong for jobs. Okay, students going to a lot of different companies here as well. Nearly 90% of students who are pursuing who are employed or pursuing further studies. The rest would be taking gap year, but again, only 2% are unemployed. We also have another compulsory element on service learning. We serve the communities. It's not just any other social responsibility, but is hosted by our professor with their professional knowledge in their research area. For instance, I can give you one example. Our professor in Rwanda, in computer science, leading a project in Rwanda, Africa, to help villagers setting up solar power panels so that they have power supply. So this changes the villagers' life dramatically. And this is, of course, is not anything new for solar power panel in Philippines and in Hong Kong, but it's something new to them. Okay, and even if you're not in computer science or in engineering, you take part in these projects. Okay, we give also very good exchange programs to universities around the world. And it's not compulsory, but many students will grasp the opportunities to spend at least one semester abroad by only paying poly tuition. Our tuition is, I can give you the sum now in US dollars, it's around 18,600 US dollars. And it's, I would say, just a fraction compared to some other private or state-funded universities in the western part of the world. So 18,600, which is a flat fee, but they only pay this tuition and you can study abroad to maybe the great, the big names universities as well. And we also have summer programs like Summer of Oxbridge. We have you have summer research abroad. We have students going to Harvard or MIT for summer research projects. Okay. We care students a lot by having a full-time medical clinic on campus. Whenever you want to seek medical consultation, we even have Chinese medicine practitioner on campus, aside the Western, medicine doctor. Okay, we have counseling service, we have academic advice and services. Whenever you need help from our, social emotional counselor or the academic advisor, they're all happy to help and assist you. We give students the first 2 years of guaranteed stay in our dorms for international students. We have 2 dorms. One is Home Hub and another one is Home Antin. Both are within walking distance, or you can just take one subway stop to Home Antin, just 2 minutes subway. They are hosting at over 4,600 undergraduate students from the 2 dorms. Okay? And this is the typical room, the girls' room. I think very clean. It's not big, but you have everything in the room. We have over 100 sports clubs as well, and apart from sports, that can be music or culture-related clubs. So you won't find boredom in poly because you can find anything you wish for joining out of classroom. We do credit-based system. So if you are familiar with the US system, I will say it's kind of similar. You take credits and you register for your credits, and you get the freedom for minor if you wish to, apart from your major study. When it comes to admissions, the basic concept for poly is a mix of US and UK admissions model. What is quite similar to the US, is we don't only see your academic results for admissions. What is similar to the UK is you apply like UCAS, although we don't have an admission system for all Hong Kong universities. You apply with your predicted grade, you apply with your previous years of transcripts. We give offer in condition, like the UK. We need your final results by admission. If you haven't got your final results, or if you haven't got your final GPA, then by the time we give offer to you, that will be in condition. We'll state very clearly what you have to achieve in your percentage for your, for your senior high school in the Philippines curriculum, or in IBs or A-levels if you are attending international schools here in the Philippines. A general requirement would be just a high school diploma with percentage under the K-12 system, which has been established for more than 3 years in the Philippines. If you are doing IBs or A-levels or the American high schools, then we require that as well. SAT is not compulsory unless you are from a US curriculum high school. Okay. We accept English tests like TOEFL or IELTS or IB or O-levels English or SAT. If you're going to do SAT reasoning test, we need 590 in evidence-based reading writing paper alone. Otherwise, TOEFL IBT 80 or IELTS 6.0, which is also accepted. Okay, we just need one of them. Tuition fee again, $18,600 all inclusive. We're expecting the students to prepare themselves around 26,800 for including everything, dorms and food and everything else. Okay, we are being generous on giving scholarship to international students. This is the batch of 2019 entry, I would say, because we didn't have that last year due to the fact that the COVID situation. We have been doing online classes for quite some time, and from September we're going to do face-to-face. We're assuming face-to-face, but we give the option for students who are not able to come to Hong Kong for online classes. All right, by the time you come in, I hope the COVID situation will be getting much better so that everyone can come back to campus for study. But going back to scholarship is on merit basis, and we take in two things into consideration for only scholarship. One is your final results in your high school, another one is your interview. So if you apply for scholarship, then you definitely would have to go through an interview. All right, in an interview we would ask a lot of questions, like ranging from maybe your character, your communication skills, your passion. We want to see why you are coming to study. That would be more or less, more general, because I can't give you a definite answer, because different departments has their own, a methodology for interviewing students. So you are going to be interviewed by the professor from that department you are applying to. Okay. When it comes to application, you have two choices, and you are applying to the department you are going to. We call it from 2022 entry as scheme-based admissions. The scheme is under the department. For instance, if you would like to study accounting and finance, there are 3 majors under this school of accounting and finance, and you have to apply to the scheme, but not the major. After 1 year of study in the accounting and finance department, then you can declare the major and start from at the beginning of 2nd year. Just to give you an example, the application timeline quite similar to the UK and the US. Application begins in September 23rd this year, and we have 2 rounds of deadlines. Early round by November 25th, 9 a.m. Hong Kong time, also the Philippines time. Main round by March the 1st, 9 a.m. as well. And after that, it goes on to rolling basis, and is subject to places availability until May the 31st. Okay, everything's quite simple. Application submitted online, pay the application fee, and you'll be arranged an interview if you are being shortlisted by Poly. Okay, now you can download our leave list, or my colleague Alan can paste the link at the chat box and fill in the form. If you wish to be connected to Poly, we will type the information at the chat box as well. But for now, I will just hand the time to our student ambassador, Lourdes, who are also from the Philippines. Over to you, Lourdes.
Okay, so hi everyone, good evening. So my name is Lourdes, and I'm going to be just sharing and chatting with you guys on my experience so far as a PolyU student. So let me start with introducing myself. My name is Lourdes, and I'm from the Philippines. I am Filipino Chinese, and I'm currently a year one turning year two student, majoring in accountancy. I graduated from ICA or Immaculate Conception Academy for high school. Currently, I just finished two summer classes being the history and culture of the wine industry and world destinations. I'm also doing my WIE or work integrated education in school being a student assistant, and I am also the business club president for this year's cohort and one of the PolyU attaché. So, my hobbies include tennis, jogging, traveling, reading, watching movies, and TV shows. I also like listening to music, eating good food, and baking, which I took up recently when I was back home during the lockdown periods due to the pandemic situation. So I hope I did not bore you all on introducing myself. So let me talk about now transitioning from high school to university. So I was deciding between studying abroad or a local school. When I was applying, I was able to get into local schools, schools in the US and Singapore, and of course, PolyU here in Hong Kong. There were several factors, like being back home meant comfort of family and friends, and being in the same environment I was used to, and of course, not needing to fly out during a pandemic. However, university abroad meant new everything. Basically, I had no friends yet. It was scary flying out alone, and the pandemic situation. So, what made me go for it was me realizing that I did not work hard during high school to settle because of being scared. So, eventually, I went for it and chose PolyU. So, as I said, I got into different schools, but what made me choose PolyU at the end of the day are these things here on the PowerPoint. So, first, ranking. As you all may know, now PolyU leaped to the 66th in the QS World University Rankings 2022, which is very good. This was not a big factor in my selection process, but it did boost it. Next, requirements and extracurriculars. Coming from a local private school, I had to take the SATs, TOEFL, and submit my high school grades, plus extra activities I did for entry requirements. I can say I was active in high school, and I guess PolyU fit in with what I had and what I prepared. Next, helpfulness. People in PolyU were very helpful and patient when I kept emailing them about many things, my questions, and they were very efficient and replied faster than the other schools I applied to, which was another deciding factor for me. They're very approachable, so if you have any questions, you can just email them and they'll get back to you. And their answers are pretty straightforward and they're very helpful. Next, location. So PolyU is located in a good area in the city, and the dorms are also near campus. Um, they're near places, especially Hong Kong student halls, which is where I currently am. Hong Kong also in general is a 2-hour plane ride away from the Philippines, which my parents like. So I guess the location was more of a selling point to my parents than to me. But I did also like Hong Kong because I traveled to Hong Kong for leisure a lot. So I like Hong Kong's vibes and everything. Next, opportunities and experiences. So back home, I believe I would have not been the same person I am today if I chose differently. I guess being here has changed me to be more career driven, self driven, and more confident with my capabilities. I feel like in this environment right now, my classmates, my peers, my professors, everyone basically here challenges each other in a good way and helps bring each other up, which is why I can say that this is a selling point more for you now than for me. Also, Hong Kong has tons of internship opportunities for students. Whether you're first year, second year, third, or fourth, it's great not only for requirements in university, but also building one up to be more prepared and experienced in the business world outside of school. Next, people. I was added to Facebook groups for other schools I got into, and I met new people online from those. And I guess the people from PolyU just gave me more better vibes than others. For example, one of the schools I got into, someone actually messaged me and asked for my GPA instead of my name. That was very shocking and kind of off-putting. Lastly, scholarship. So Poly offered me an entry scholarship, which made me really happy and honored. And I wasn't expecting it, but when I saw the email, it made me so happy, and that also pushed me to choose Poly. So now, I'm in Hong Kong and I got here in December. So I spent my first semester online, but went here before the second semester started. My experiences so far are great. I joined the host family scheme of PolyU, and as seen in the picture, I've met up with them and they made me feel homey, and they take me to explore Hong Kong more, which is so nice of them. Next, I have met new friends such as my roommate and others, as you may have seen in the other pictures from the other slides. Sightseeing also is great here, and getting to do new things like having a picnic with friends is also a great experience so far for me. So overall, year one has been online. Classes are online since I'm an accounting student, so there's not much offline work yet for me. It has been challenging to meet new people, but I needed to step up and also instigate conversation. At first, I was so shy, but I stepped out and I have made great friends who some I have not met yet with face to face as they're not here yet in Hong Kong. But also, there are those I have met up with and I've established great friendships and relationships with them. I have learned new ways to communicate more effectively, such as being more proactive and dynamic. Also, I have sent a ton of emails this year one to ask professors for help or for basically any kind of questions, and also catching or contacting group mates and etc. But online classes, or Zoom University as we may have called it now these days, has taught me to be more well organized and manage my time more wisely and effectively, as I am more responsible for how I learn. As my teachers, my professors, they can't really jump out of the screen to lecture me for not listening, or if I'm using my phone, they can't really do anything. So I'm more responsible for myself than they are of me. One more thing would be joining clubs or doing extracurriculars. So in high school, I liked being active, and I guess it stuck with me in university. So I like joining new things, like I said, the business club, attaché, and hopefully I can start and continue playing tennis again soon. So all in all, I am grateful for the opportunity that Poly has given me. I am happy with the chances, the decisions, everything I did and took so far, and I'm excited for more to come. So the advice I can give you as a year one student would be to be open to new experiences and be thankful for any opportunity coming your way, whether small or big. Also, do not be scared to take chances and get out of your comfort zone. Flying out alone, if you're scared of that, it's not as scary as it seems. It's tried and tested. I did it by myself and I was able to overcome that. And if you have any questions, Poly representatives are always open. They're really nice, and just contact them. Thank you. That's all for my sharing, and hope to see you in Poly soon.
Thank you very much, Lotus. So we are happy to take questions. We have quite some time until the end of this session. So if you wish to unmute your microphone, feel free. Or you can just type in the chat box.